All right. I believe I'm streaming. It has been a long time since I've streamed, so I really hope this is working. Give me a thumbs up in the chat quick if you can actually see this. I know there's a bit of a delay, so I probably need to give it a sec until I can actually see it. But yeah, I'll wait a second here and then I'll get started. Okay, I saw a heart fly through. Let's see if that's... It has been a long time since I... Okay, good. Yeah, so I see myself talking. I have it open on my other tab here. All right, so we are good. Cool. All right, yeah. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the very first stream for oTToDev, our Bolt.new fork. I have been waiting for this all week, so I'm just super excited to dive in everything that I've got for you guys today. And for those of you tuning in from Europe, other places where it's the middle of the night, thank you so much for doing that. I'm definitely going to be doing live streams at other times going forward, so it's not like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. for you guys. But yeah, thank you for coming aboard as well, and for everyone else joining too. Yeah, I think there's like almost 100 people already, which is really cool. Big deal for me. The last time I streamed, there was like 3 people watching at most, and that was like way back in June when I was doing the NVIDIA AI Developer Contest, which is pretty fun, by the way. But yeah, so oTToDev, it is our Bolt.new fork, which is an AI coding assistant that I forked about a month ago to add in the ability to chat with a bunch of different large language models, including local ones with Ollama. But within the first few weeks, we formed this massive community around the project, taking it really far together, turning it into something that's honestly way bigger than me. And so I just wanted to live stream tonight to continue to foster that community and just have a place for us to chat together. And so I'm gonna have a lot of time for Q&A. Basically how this is going to work is I have this agenda that I'll show in a little bit, just some really cool things I want to cover with big announcements for stuff, dive into some updates for oTToDev, and then just chat with all of you guys. So I've got my chat window open up on the left hand side here, my primary monitor for everything I'm about to present, and then on my right hand side I've got my third monitor with all my notes up, because I really want to make sure that I keep this organized. So I've got notes for everything I want to cover, but it's also not going to be super structured. Like I said, I do want to have a lot of time just for us to chat as well. So yeah, hope that this will go well. I haven't done this kind of stream before, so I'm just winging it here, but I'm loving it. I'm really excited about everything that we're going to share. So let me actually switch over to my screen here so I can show you what I've got here for an agenda. So it's pretty meta, but I actually used oTToDev to build this little widget here just to organize the agenda items that I have for the stream. So I thought that was pretty slick. I used OpenRouter for DeepSeek Coder, an open source model, to make this, just kind of demonstrating using an open source model within oTToDev. And it made this neat little widget here where I can add in items and like drag around their order and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyway, this is the agenda that we've got for our live stream here. So let's start with the intro and the purpose of the live stream, which I've already covered a little bit. And then dive into our Discourse community, which is launching now, and a giveaway to go along with that. And then I want to talk about some big things that I'm building behind the scenes, and then dive into all of our updates for oTToDev, and then short and long-term goals as well. And then time for Q&A. So I want all this to be decently short so we really can have a lot of time to chat together. And then time permitting, also testing with local LLMs within oTToDev, which I honestly don't think we'll have time to get into this just because I really want to talk with you guys a lot. I know this is a bigger thing I wanted to focus on in this live stream that I talked about earlier in the week in one of my videos. But I mean, this kind of fits into its own video anyway, so I might do that at a different time and just focus on all these things with you guys here. So that's what I've got for an agenda. I see someone in the chat said, can you hear an echo? Yeah, let me know, guys, if you do hear an echo, because I definitely want to fix that. But I got the exact same recording set up as for all my videos, so it should be good. I only have one source of audio coming in, but yeah, let me know. Yeah, anyway, so first thing on the agenda, just chatting about the purpose of the live stream a little bit here. My goal with this is just to have a more personal conversation with you guys, even though it's still many of you, so it's not like it's a one-on-one or anything, but I don't want to just forever be that face behind a bunch of pre-recorded videos. I want to actually be live for you guys so you can feel like you're talking to me. And as I introduce all these things, like the community especially, I want to do that in this kind of format. And I'm definitely planning on doing live streams more in the future as well, especially if this one goes well. So we'll see, but I think that'll be really cool. Yeah, and so the first thing that I want to dive into here is our Discourse community. But first, let me just say thank you guys for letting me know that the audio is clear. I'm glad. For the one person who it was echoing, I'm sorry about that. I hope you can figure it out, but I'm guessing it'd be something on your system then. But anyway, we can dive into the first thing here with Discourse. So this is kind of one of the big announcements that I've got for tonight, because we are officially launching our Discourse community, which is going to be the place for all of us to stay organized and in community together as we build up oTtoDev. So you can sign up for this right now. If you go to thinktank.automator.ai, and I'm actually going to go ahead and paste this in a message right here within the stream. If you go to thinktank.automator.ai and create your account now, you'll instantly have access to this entire forum here that me and a couple other people have put a lot of work getting set up for you guys. So it's totally free to use this. Like, this is literally just an extension of everywhere that we've already been chatting about oTtoDev. But I want to keep things really organized and use this as a place to foster this community as we build oTtoDev together. So no longer do we have to chat about a ton of stuff in the YouTube comments and in the issues and pull requests and GitHub. This can be the place for all of that. And yeah, Discourse is just a phenomenal platform. A lot of you have probably used it without even realizing it, because it's called white labeling when you can take a platform like Discourse and make it seem like it's actually a part of your website. So there are huge companies like OpenAI and Asana that do that for their forum. So like I said, you probably use it without even realizing it. It is a very professional platform. And a lot of you have mentioned that you'd like a Discord community, not to be confused with Discourse, they're very similar names. The reason I chose Discourse over Discord, or even something like Slack, is just because I like the professional feel of Discourse. I think, like, especially with Discord, sometimes you'll have like holiday updates. Like, they did something for Halloween where there's just like a ton of like silly sound effects and stuff, which is fun. Not quite what I'm looking for oTtoDev though. I don't think that's the best for the kind of community we're looking to make here. Also, the official support for plugins that Discourse has is incredible. Seriously cool things, like even like AI integration for summarizing conversations and stuff. Really, really cool. You don't have to rely on bringing in a bunch of third-party bots like you would with something like Discord. So I definitely appreciate that. And then the very last thing that I really, really like compared to something like Discord or Slack is the amount of organization around like subcategories and categories. And they have really, really good search functionality, which is super important, because with something like oTtoDev, we're going to want to go back in time to posts from a while ago as we do things like manage pull requests and new features and help people troubleshoot with things. And so, yeah, the features here are just absolutely phenomenal. And so that's why I have chosen to use Discourse. And so, yeah, maybe we'd create some other kind of platform as well in the future, but I'm definitely leaning away from that right now because this has everything we need. I absolutely love it. And so, yeah, that's everything I've got for Discourse here. And then to go along with it, we've got the giveaway. So just something small that we're doing to continue to grow this community right here on the Discourse. If you have an account created on our Discourse community here by Tuesday with a post that's not just a spam post, then you'll be entered in a giveaway to win a $200 Amazon gift card. So just something simple and fun here to get people engaged so we can really hit the ground running with this community as we build it to build oTtoDev. So looking forward to that. Again, if you have a post and are signed up by this Tuesday, November 12th, you'll be entered into a giveaway to win a $200 Amazon gift card. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to using this, and that also kind of goes into the next thing that we have here on the agenda. So Discourse community giveaway. I'm looking at chat for any questions as well, and I'll get to a couple I see in a second here, but they're all related to oTtoDev, so I'm going to, hold on, there's a couple about, so someone mentioned Slack. I kind of covered and Discord, why I prefer Slack and Discord. And then, a question that I see from Edgar related to oTtoDev. I'll talk about those once we get to the Q&A. I'll go on to the next thing here, which is the big thing that I am building behind the scenes. And so this is very related to Discourse, because you can kind of see here that like the primary focus of this platform, just looking at all the categories, is oTtoDev. And don't get me wrong, like this is definitely where I'm going to be putting my focus in when it comes to this community here, is oTtoDev specifically. But you can tell that there's some other things going on in this platform here. Like we have some other categories here. If I click on all categories, there's definitely a lot more that I'll be building into in the future. And also, this entire community is just a subdomain, think tank, of Automator.ai. And so Automator.ai is just a splash page right now, but this is what I've been teasing over the past week here. This big thing that I'm building for you guys that is related to the Discourse community, because the Discourse community is just going to be a part of it. And so before I tell you guys a bit more about this, the really important thing that I want to say is that my primary goal as a YouTuber and even beyond that is to teach you all how to do really incredible things with AI. That's my goal, very plain and simple. And Automator is going to be the way for me to do that even better. So I have my YouTube channel right now and it's fantastic, but this is going to be an extension of it, you could even think of it as. And it's going to grow and be even much larger than my channel, trust me. But like right now, for all of you guys watching, I think it's a good way to think about it. And really the best way to describe what Automator is to tell you what my channel isn't. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but just give me like a minute here and it'll definitely make sense. So I'm just really excited to tell you guys what Automator is. So I've went over to my channel here just to have like a nice little visual here. So I can see all my videos here. And in my humble opinion, my channel is a fantastic place for people to go and learn about anything AI related to get started on their AI projects. A lot of good resources here, but the key phrase there is get started. The way that YouTube works, the way that, you can't really make like 10-hour videos all the time for super in-depth tutorials, because that'd be unrealistic for me as a creator, and people would not watch all of them because they get totally burnt out if there's a 10-hour video every single time. So what I end up doing is creating a ton of really concise tutorials to get you started on different topics, like with oTToDev or with Swarm or with the local AI starter kit. So I have all these things, but it's not like you can take one of these videos and use it to build something that's instantly production ready. It doesn't have that kind of depth. And that kind of depth is what I am looking to provide with Automator. So like I said, you can kind of think of it as an extension of my channel where you're able to, and this is what I'll get into a little bit when I describe the different parts of Automator, you're really able to get that depth you need to have everything that you need for AI. And so let me describe a few categories here as far as depth goes. So I got my notes on the right hand side because I don't want to miss these things here. And you'll see what I mean as I explain this. So as far as depth goes, the first category that's kind of missing from my channel is community and networking. The YouTube comment section does not cut it when it comes to people networking together and having community with me as well. I can't engage as well as I'd want to just in the comment section. And so that's really what our Discourse community is. It's mostly oTToDev at this point, but also a lot of other things as well. It's going to be the place for us to have a much better community than just the YouTube comment section. Now, this doesn't mean I'm going to start ignoring the YouTube comment section. Far from it. I'm still going to be very active there. But this is going to be the place for us to really come together more as we're getting interested in other things AI related that isn't even like related to one of my videos. That's another thing, is the videos are just kind of like any comments you have there are kind of forced to be limited to whatever content I'm creating for that week. And so here you have the power to post whatever you want. Looks like there's already a post in the AI development category. So yeah, you can just like post here like any question you have. So that's the category of community networking as far as depth goes. The other area of depth is making things that are production ready. So my channel, like I said, is to get started with things. But if you want to like really learn how to make things production ready and have advanced courses for that, that's the kind of content that's more fitting to have on something like Automator. We'll have this platform where you can have these courses to like really, really dive into things, even things that might be related to something that I introduce on my channel. And so that's as far as production ready goes. The third category, I'll get through a couple more categories, then I'm going to read through the chat and take a look at any questions that we have here. The third category is having more use cases around generative AI. Because right now, there's, like I said, a lot of things on my channel for getting started with things, but I don't dive into like very specific use cases that you might have. Learning how to implement something very specific to solve a problem that you have for your business. And so that's something that I want to have available on Automator as well, is a ton of different resources for diving into specific things that you'd want to implement. Like how do I implement this thing to help me with my marketing, or how do I implement this thing to make it easier for my receptionist? Like, I'm just giving a couple of random examples here. But like when you get that specific, there's not really room for that on my channel just because I can only put out so much content. But when you have a huge resource library on a site like oTToMator, that's when it's possible. The fourth category of depth, as I'm kind of calling it now, is keeping up with the latest and greatest tools. For example, I don't even have a video out on Cursor yet. It's kind of crazy. Most AI content creators have, because it's a pretty phenomenal and massive platform, but it just hasn't fit in my content calendar yet. Like, I've been doing a ton with oTToDev and a lot with Swarm and the local AI starter kit. There just hasn't been a chance for me to make a Cursor video yet. And so oTToMator is also going to have a place for you to be kept up to date with the latest and greatest AI tools, so you can have the best tools in your tool belt as a developer or a business owner trying to implement AI for yourself. So that's what we got going on there. And all of these things, like, there's going to be so much access for you for free. Like, I'm not going to like create this business and charge you out the wazoo to even have access to the platform. Like, it's not going to be like that at all. And so I will say that, like, to be transparent, it's a business. There's going to be places for you to, invest into the platform, invest into yourself through this platform. But it's the goal, and the way that we are organizing this is to still make it so that you think to yourself, like, holy cow, how am I getting this much for free? Like, I hope that you think when you visit my YouTube channel as well. So yeah, that's everything as far as oTToMator goes. And then the very last thing that I'll say is that oTToMator, I also want to be a place to connect developers and business owners, because there are a lot of people that come onto my channel that are developers, and a lot of people that come on as business owners that need something implemented for AI for their business. And there needs to be more connection between these two groups, because they can help each other so much. Like, you have no idea. I have like 90% of the emails that come into my inbox, 95% are people asking for things that I just don't have the capacity for, because I'm building all of this for you guys. And so there's this huge need, and having that connection being made on oTToMator is going to be super helpful for both parties. And so yeah, I'm really excited for that as well. So that's my whole spiel for oTToMator. Really, really exciting stuff. There's a couple more parts to it that I want to talk about really quick here. But first, I'm going to read through a couple of comments here. So give me a second while I read through some of these here. Because like I said, I'm going to have a time for Q&A, but I still want to like pause once in a while just to make sure I can answer some questions here. So let me read through these quick. For anything that's really related to oTToDev, I'm going to be waiting on that. So don't worry, I'm not skipping over your comment if it's something related to oTToDev. Yeah, definitely a lot of comments for that, which I appreciate. I'll get into these for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, someone said that you would watch long videos. That's actually one thing. I am definitely considering making some longer content on my channel. So I still stand by what I say, that like having longer courses and stuff on oTToMator is going to be really valuable. And I can't just always make long videos on my channel, but I am definitely looking to at some point invest in making like super long videos, like 2 hours or 5 hours, like going through different advanced topics in AI. I know that's valuable, so I certainly will be doing it. But yeah, it takes a lot of time to make those videos, so I have to get the capacity for that in my content calendar for sure. Yeah, let's see, what else we got here. You can't run Cursor locally, and with Ollama you can. So you can run local models with Cursor, primarily web. So maybe you could rephrase that question if that's not quite what you meant. Eric says, it's been 20 minutes and you haven't talked about oTToDev yet. I'm sorry, I will certainly get to it. There's just so many exciting things related to, like, I mean, even the Discourse community is talking about oTToDev, because that's going to be like the really important part that drives oTToDev forward. But yes, as far as like actual updates to oTToDev and stuff, I'm going to be getting to that in a second here. So I apologize about that. There's just really exciting stuff to dive into. Yeah, let me keep scrolling here. Yeah. Someone else also said I prefer longer deep dives. That's totally fair. Yeah, I'm going to be making some longer deep dives for sure. Cloudways AI, I think you should have a members only section. You're missing a source of income. I appreciate you saying that. The reason I haven't done that at this point is just because I want my channel to continue to be accessible to everyone, all the content that I'm doing, and anything that might be like, oh, you actually have to invest in this, I want that to be on Automator. Because the biggest thing I want to avoid is to make it seem like I'm trying to get as much income as I possibly can in as many different ways as possible. I want to avoid that. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers. And so I'm trying to be very specific about the ways that I would even have that kind of monetization, and make it so that anyone who doesn't want to pay anything can still get everything that they would need. Like, I want them, like I said, to feel like, whoa, I'm getting way too much value for free. How is this guy even doing it? And that's my goal. But I do appreciate you saying that. So yeah, and yeah, like Chris said, the community is important. And I definitely want to be focusing on that, making sure that we actually feel like we're building something together, and I'm not just trying to like monetize it, because I'm definitely not, and I don't want to give that impression. So that's what I have to be very, very careful of. Yeah, so I think that's everything for now. And that is everything I've got for Automator. I guess the last thing that I'll say really quickly here, and then I'll get on to oTtoDev updates, I promise. The last thing I want to say here, something really cool that I'm working on that's going to be a part of Automator, is what I'm calling the AI Agent Studio. This is going to be a place where you can go and test out a bunch of different AI agents, learn how to implement them yourselves, really like invest in these things, and as a developer, like learn how to make these things, as a business owner, learn how to implement them for your business. And the goal is for like anything I make on my channel as far as AI agents go, I'll upload it to this platform so you can go in, play around with it, learn more how to implement it, like a deeper dive, and then even collaborate with some of you guys in the community and other content creators to add more and more agents into this platform. So it becomes this beautiful library of like everything that's going on in the industry, all these cool AI agents. And like, that's something I am going to be pouring so much time into over the next few months. I'm really excited about that specifically, because it's going to be kind of like a way to like anything I make on my channel, just like you can go and click a link and play around with it. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. And yeah, even hosting oTtoDev there, like having that be a place where you can just go and try oTtoDev yourself if you don't want to run it yourself, just as like another agent on the platform. That would be super cool. So yeah, like anything you can think of like agent related, any kind of solution, like it'd be cool to have it there on that platform at some point, and have it all like open source as well. Like anything that's on the platform, you can like see the code for it and like learn how to implement it yourself. And that would kind of like tie into the courses as well. Like maybe there'd be a course that's related to this agent, so you can learn how to do a deeper dive. So like I said, I definitely do want to do longer form content on my channel, but for certain AI use cases that I don't get to do that, having that be a course on the platform that you can view when you try the agent on the Agent Studio here in Automator. So, a little long-winded, but that's everything I've got for Automator. I appreciate all of you guys listening into all of that. Really, really exciting stuff. Yeah, if you're interested in Automator, just head on over to oTtomator.ai. I'll post the link here. And you can fill out your information to be notified when we launch these different things. Because, yeah, really exciting stuff. And like I said, we already got the think tank live here for oTtoDev, so we already got our Discourse community. So yeah, moving on to oTtoDev updates. I'm going to read through the comments really quickly here before I go on to this and just answer a couple more questions. And then yeah, we'll have Q&A for like most of the questions in a bit as well. So let me just scroll up and check here. Phil said, your vision of bringing information to the masses and not gatekeeping what we all need to know is exactly what drives me to build my platform. If I can help you in any way, let me know. Thank you very much, Phil. I appreciate that a lot. And that really is the goal. Like, I don't want to gatekeep anything. I really want, like, I mean, let me tell you guys one thing that's quite interesting. Someone asked me recently, what code have you built in the last like 2 months that's private? And I thought a while about it, and I'm like, wait a second, there's nothing that I've built in the last like 2 months that I haven't shared, like made public in GitHub. And there's a couple of things that I'm working on like right now that maybe I wouldn't open up to everyone that's related to oTtoDev and kind of the back end for the Agent Studio. But like everything else I've done is literally like open to everyone. Because like that really is what I stand behind, is just making it accessible to everybody, like all the things that I'm doing. Because yeah, like I said, my primary goal is just to teach you how to do incredible things with AI. And I'm going to keep getting better at that myself, because I know, I mean, there's ways for me to improve as well. Nothing41I asked, when will the high priority things be done for oTtoDev? I will get into this with the update on oTtoDev because there's a lot of exciting things coming that will make it so that we actually get through a lot of these features faster. So yeah, more on that in a little bit. Nick Woods TS asked, is there a way to get involved in the dev? And there certainly is. So if you sign up for the Discourse community, there's going to be places for you to chat with other developers as you guys are talking about things to implement for oTtoDev. And if you want to make a pull request on the platform, let me go over to oTtoDev really quickly here. If you make a pull request like all the ones that we have right here that have already been done, I'll get into these in a little bit here. You can just click on new pull request. If you're unsure how to actually like make pull requests, there's a lot of good content on YouTube tutorials on how to do that. You can just kind of fork your own version of the repository, make your changes, and to make a pull request to bring it in. Super easy to get involved with the development. I'm really open to like whatever features you want to implement. You just open up a pull request and we'll see if it fits well in the project. So yeah, definitely open to anybody that wants to get involved in any way. Mikkel asks, can we do questions later? Half the chat is sleepy. That's fair. Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. I will certainly get onto the oTtoDev updates here. And then, yeah, and then we'll go into the Q&A. So yeah, for the agenda, we've got oTtoDev's updates, and then I want to talk about short and long-term goals for oTtoDev as well. So let me go back to the README here that we have for oTtoDev. So the first big thing that I want to talk about is I am getting more maintainers involved in oTtoDev. There's a team that I'm forming to help me manage the demand for everything because like I said, oTtoDev is growing well beyond my capacity. It's growing much larger than me. There's a lot of issues out right now and pull requests, and I've been getting through some of them. But man, it is a big commitment. And I'm spending so much time organizing everything, especially getting the Discourse community ready, for example, that I need help. And I'm getting that help. I'm working on that right now. There's a lot of very, very talented individuals that I am working with now that I'm getting involved. And we're already starting to see some more progress here. So things are looking up for that. I know that it was a big pain point that for like the last week I was like, oh man, it's picking up and I'm not able to handle everything anymore. But that's why I'm taking the time here to really invest in building up a team to help me maintain. So we've got a couple of maintainers already. They've been making some awesome pull requests. Yeah, Chris said, let's go. He is one of them. So hey, Chris, thank you for everything you've already done in the past couple of days. It is amazing, man. So yeah, just getting people involved that know what they're doing, sometimes even more than me. It's really cool to see. A lot of pull requests that are just like incredible new features as well. So even people that aren't like necessarily on the team of maintainers that are just here contributing pull requests and stuff, like all of you are completely killing it. Like it is just so incredible what we've been building already. And it's only been a couple of weeks, honestly. Like I started this fork like a month ago. It's only been a couple of weeks since people have really been contributing, and it's just incredible to see. So a couple of new features that we've had implemented. First of all, Aaron implemented the containerization of the application, which is super important for making it easy to install. We have instructions in the README for how to install with Docker. I know some people have had some issues getting it to run with Docker. And so, yeah, like I'm trying my best to help everybody get it up and running. Also, the Discourse community is going to be a really awesome place. Like if you go to the issues and troubleshooting category, this is also going to be an awesome place to ask for help. And so me and the other oTtoDev team members will be here trying to help you with all the different issues that come up. Because there's just, even with Docker, there's differences within systems that cause things to happen. It's hard to handle everything. And so we're working to handle any edge cases that there might be that make it not work for certain people. Definitely something that's on the top of mind, because I know that people are having issues getting it to run, or maybe the preview isn't loading, which by the way, that is oftentimes the LLM hallucinating, not an issue with the application. But anyway, little things like that we want to continue to handle just so that people can really continue to use oTtoDev, as many people as possible getting involved. Also, one big feature that was implemented recently is having the ability to enter API keys in the UI, which is just so cool. So if I go back to what I got running locally here, you can see there's a place now, like for Anthropic, for example, you can set your API key. And if you want to do it through the old .env file method, you still can. Like that's still what I'm using, but you can add your own API key in here. And so that way you can run oTtoDev without having to mess with anything in the file system at all. You just pull the container and run it, set your API keys here, and you're good to go, which is super cool. And this also is what leads to the ability of self-hosting oTtoDev in the future. So you can have this hosted on a server where people can log in and enter in their own API keys. And that's how I'm going to be deploying this to the Live Agent Studio that I mentioned earlier as well. So super huge feature. Thank you, Ali, for implementing that. And then also recently the XAI Grok beta integration, super phenomenal. So you can use Grok within oTtoDev as well. I personally haven't done much testing with this. And really there's so many models you can use, like millions from oLlama too. So I haven't tested like every single one. So fair warning, it's not guaranteed to work with every model, especially the smaller ones that hallucinate a lot. But it's really cool the amount of models that we're adding into this. Like even just going back to Bolt.new here, we have so many different providers, and you go to oLlama and it's like, boom, I have like more than a dozen different models I can use to create an app. Like it's just so cool. And then, yeah, there's a lot of other pull requests recently for fixing little things that's so cool. Like Tommy recently implemented respecting the provider choice. So there was some little issues that we had sometimes where you would select a provider and then a model from that provider, and then it would default to using a different provider that has a model with the same name. I know it's like a little kind of like a random issue, but there's like all these little things that like people are working hard to fix the little stuff as well as implement the big stuff. And I really, really appreciate that, because it's super important that we don't just always try to tackle the huge things and leave behind all these little issues. So we're continuing to work on that. And then like Patri, he implemented automatically setting the context to fix the oLlama model. So this is a huge thing, because for some reason oLlama models by default only have a context length of 2,000 tokens, no matter how big the model is. I do not know why oLlama does that. And so setting this parameter here is a big deal, because that way, before we had this and you used a base oLlama model, it wouldn't actually, most of the time, put the code in the web container. So you just have like a regular chat down the middle without the code being written on the right side. And so this is a fix for that for oLlama models, which I really appreciate. And yeah, a lot of other pull requests that are still out that we're looking into. One huge one that Chris is actually reviewing and testing right now is adding the Bolt terminal into the interface. And so you'll actually be able to see the commands that are being run as oTtoDev is creating the application. And this also prevents a lot of hallucinations as well. This is going to be a huge fix for local LLMs sometimes not showing the preview for the application it builds. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting this one in. This is going to be a super big deal. Yeah, like this is something that's in the commercial Bolt that they didn't include in the open source version, so we had to implement it ourselves. And like this is not a small change. I seriously appreciate the Codicus. Thank you for implementing this. We'll be merging this soon. But yeah, here's a little demo that you can see. I'll share this here. You can see the terminal open, and it shows like the npm install command running. Like right now in the current version, before this pull request, that's not there. It runs the commands behind the scenes, and if it gets a command wrong and there's an error, you never see it. And so the preview shows up as blank, and you don't actually know what went wrong. So this is a really important feature. So we'll be getting that in soon. So yeah, that is everything as far as updates go. I'm going to quickly talk about the future of oTtoDev, and then I will get into some of the questions that we have. Oh yeah, Chris said this is also a great example of a pull request. Yeah, let me go back to here, because that is another thing I wanted to point out. The Codicus, thank you so much for making an awesome pull request too. Like having an overview, key changes, technical details, the testing that he did, that is super important. Future improvements, and then my favorite part is the preview. Having a video where you can see this in action. If every pull request could have a video like this where you can see it happening, that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be so cool. I would appreciate that a lot. I know it's hard to expect that, but that'd be super neat. So yeah, that is everything as far as hold on, I got a warning from YouTube. Looks like I can ignore that. It says the bit rate is lower. So yeah, sorry about that. Let me know, guys, if there's any issue that you see, because I just had my OBS give me an error or warning just now. But it looks like things are working well still. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, great pull request here. And then as far as future improvements go, one really cool thing I want to share quickly here. One of the core oTtoDev team members that's helping me maintain the project, he shared this website with me and the rest of the team called roadmap.sh. This thing is so cool. So let me click into one of these so you can see an example. it gives you this full roadmap. Like this is something you built. Like someone built this within roadmap.sh. You can build like these full roadmaps that are like super detailed. You can like click into them to see information related to it. They have a project section so you can like manage different tasks. Like if we have different pull requests that are related to different items on the roadmap. We are going to be making a roadmap, probably with roadmap.sh as a community that's going to look kind of like this, where we have all the different things that we want to develop for oTToDev and being able to like drill in, like have details related to these or like subtasks and stuff. There is so much work that I want to facilitate on planning oTToDev for the future, because I certainly acknowledge that there's a lot that we have to develop to like truly make this the application that everyone needs. Like right now, there's little issues for certain people getting it started. Sometimes local LLMs will hallucinate and just won't perform nearly as well as Claude 3.5 Sonnet, for example. And there's so many different features that people want. Like one huge one that is so important is being able to load local projects and interact with local projects, like maybe even pulling them from Git or having some sort of like VS Code style, like kind of like an IDE integration as well. So many ideas around that I 100% acknowledge is super important. Like people have been asking for that for a while, and we certainly need that. So like that is one of the high priority things that we have right here. These are the 5 things where like, if I could pay like $1,000 to get these implemented by one person, I would probably do that. Which maybe that's a little dangerous to say right here, but like it'd be so cool to have all of these things implemented right now. And that's what the roadmap is going to help us with. All of these things that we want for more short-term goals and then longer-term goals of how we'd want to, like here's one really cool thing that we've been talking about as a team for the oTToDev maintainers. All of these things that we want to implement here, it'd be really cool to make it so that it's kind of like an extension marketplace where like if you wanted to have the ability to run agents in the back end for better code generation, maybe you could have that as like a toggle where you just say like, yes, I want this extension. Instead of being forced to overcomplicate oTToDev with agents, maybe you do want just kind of the base, more Bolt.new style where it's just a single model that you make a call to. So like having that as like an optional extension and then creating like an extension library where any developer could implement extensions for oTToDev without even having to implement something within the code base and make a pull request. Like if there's actually like a place you could upload an extension within an automator, for example. I don't know. I'm dreaming big here. But yeah, there's so many long-term goals that we have as well. And so all the short-term stuff, long-term stuff, having that managed in a roadmap here with tasks and having our Discourse community where we facilitate the communication for all these things and continuing to build the community around developers working on this. Like, I'm just so excited for the future that we've got going on here. So many exciting stuff. Like everything that you guys are saying, like we need this, I agree. Like if it ever seems like I'm dismissing something, it's not because I don't think it should be implemented. It's because I'm working hard behind the scenes to organize everyone's thoughts together and form it in a way where we can have it in this list, have it in the roadmap, knock it all out, because there's so many good ideas that we need to implement here. So yeah, I think that's it for my spiel on the long-term and short-term goals that we have here for oTToDev. So many cool things we've already implemented, but even more that we still got to do. So yeah, looking forward to all of our contributions that we've got going on. I'm going to be continuing to work my butt off to build up the maintainers here and make sure that we got things organized so we can get through all the issues and pull requests as well. So yeah, that's everything that I've got. And then, yeah, I mean, next up on the agenda here, I'll go back to my oTToDev app here. Next up, we've got time for Q&A. So I'm going to be looking over on my left monitor here a lot as I go through this here. But I'm going to, just scroll through everything that I've got for comments here and try to answer as many as I can and just have a conversation with you guys about everything that's going on. So I'm just expanding my chat window here, so give me a second. All right, let me scroll up a little bit. It's hard to know like how far I need to scroll up from when I last read the questions, so give me a moment here. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about oTToDev at all, or Automator, or the Discourse community, the think tank, feel free to just drop it in here because now's your time for us to just chat a little bit. So my plan is to do this for maybe like 15 or 20 minutes and then call it good. I think an hour-long stream is definitely good, especially because I want this to turn into a video as well, that people that couldn't make it to the stream can watch and get up to speed with everything as well. And I definitely don't want it to be more than an hour, because I think that'd be a little too long. So yeah, let me scroll up a little bit here and get to some questions. Let's see. Yeah, so Cryptogenic asks, can you import a repo into oTToDev? So not yet, but I mean, I think you probably asked that after I talked about it a little bit. That's certainly one of the high priority features that we definitely want to implement. And then Arthur asked, are you making money out of it? Asking to be sure if this project won't be abandonware. That's a really, really good question. And I hope that what I was talking about earlier a little bit, about how I want to provide insane value to all of you for free and continue to just focus on teaching and making all this accessible. I hope that can help you guys see that this project will not turn into abandonware. And right now, I am not making any money from oTToDev, and I'm not planning on it. Like, I'm even going to go so far as to lose money from oTToDev, because my plan is to host this on the Agent Studio and Automator for you guys to try things out. And there's a lot of free models that you can use through OpenRouter, but they're not the best. I really love using DeepSeek Coder, and this model is not free. However, it's about a 20th of a penny per prompt to Bolt, or oTToDev. So it's pretty cheap. So I am even considering making it so that you can use for free. Like, you can go on and use my API key on the Agent Studio. You can use DeepSeek Coder to code apps with oTToDev. I'll have to obviously implement rate limiting so I don't get totally shafted, but that is something that I'm considering doing, because I want to provide a lot of value to you guys. And obviously there's going to be other parts of Automator that are going to be monetized, and so this is just going to be something separate from that I want to keep free. So that is the goal right now. But yeah, Arthur, I do appreciate you asking that, because that's super important. Like, you guys don't want to get involved in something that I just try to like rip off as mine after getting a lot of help from you guys, and then just making it die out because it's not open source anymore. Like, I'm not going to do any of that. Yeah, so hope that answers your question well. InfiniPays, can everyone ask him to use me as the volunteer to install it, please? If you're asking like to be a resource for people if they have questions, I would really appreciate that. Maybe that's something you could post about in the Discourse community. Because yeah, if there are people that actually want to like give their time to those who are struggling to install it, I would be all for that. Like, I'd appreciate that a lot. And I hope that there'd be a good place on the Discourse community. I'd make sure there is for that kind of thing to happen. I'll facilitate that for sure. What else do we got here? Oh, James said your fork was mentioned at one of the StackBlitz office hours. They are impressed with all you're doing. That's really cool. I wish I could watch all of the office hours. I've seen some, but not all. I did not catch that, so thanks for mentioning that. That's really cool. That means a lot to me that they're actually mentioning that. Yeah, and then, yeah, someone else mentioned importing local projects or existing projects. Yeah, that's certainly important. Yeah, a couple of people asking that. A couple of people asking about Grok. I haven't tested Grok enough to like really give a final say on it. I mean, it works well, but I haven't done like a huge comparison. That's something that I definitely want to make content on in the future, is actually comparing different models and seeing how they compare with the same application. And that's what I was going to do a little bit tonight with testing local LLMs. I definitely don't have time for that though. But like I said, it's going to make a really good video. So yeah, I will certainly be doing a content on that for sure. So, all right, now let's move on. According to you, what is the best solution to use on cloud with hosted LLMs? Sophane asked that. Maybe you could clarify. So as far as like a cloud provider, I love using DigitalOcean. That's kind of like, if you just need like a machine in the cloud to run your API endpoints, I would highly recommend that. If you're talking about actually running an LLM, you need a pretty beefy machine for that. RunPod is a really fantastic platform for getting a dedicated GPU machine in the cloud to run your GPUs. Novita is another really good platform that I've used before as well. So yeah, RunPod and Novita I definitely look into if you want to like actually host an LLM. a larger LLM in the cloud. So yeah, that would be my suggestion there. Joe Baker asked, why don't we have bash in the terminal? So that's a limitation of Bolt.new itself. So there's a lot of things that like I wish would be different about oTToDev, but it's more because it's just a fork of Bolt.new. So any limitations there were brought into the project, like not being able to load local projects. That'd be so cool. And I wish that the open source version of Bolt.new had it, but it doesn't. So there's just things like that that we have to implement ourselves, but it certainly would be good to do that. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, there's a lot coming in. So yeah, give me a second to get my bearings again here. Yeah, Charback said you need to implement crowdfunding to pay developers to tick off high priority features one by one. I'm definitely on board with that. And that's something that I'm looking at. Like I said, my role here is just to organize things. And so one of the big things that I want to do is do some crowdfunding for this. Because yeah, that's going to be motivating for people to implement some of the things that might actually take like dozens of hours. Like if I go back to the feature list here, scroll down a little bit, like running agents in the backend, that's going to be a huge undertaking. And yeah, like if someone wants to implement this and not be paid for it, like there's people that want to do that, because in the end, like we're working on building oTToDev together into something that'll help everybody, including the person who implements this, like a dozenfold more than the open source version of Bolt.new. But yeah, like it would be a good motivator for sure to like have crowdfunding and tick off these things through payment. Definitely interested in doing that. Lucid said, IDE integration, like a WebStorm plugin, shut up and take my money. Yeah, again, that's another long-term goal thing that would take a while to implement, but that would be the dream for sure. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. Oh, I think for some reason that the YouTube comment section just like scroll all the way to the bottom, so now I got to go back up. So give me a second here. All right. What's the Discord link? So Kevin asked, what is so it's the Discourse community, but I'll give the link again here. So it is the thinktank.automator.ai. So I'll paste that in right here. That is the link for the community that we've got. Ivan asked, why don't you have it auto-generate the new features itself? Now that would be cool. No one has solved that problem yet. If you could have an agent that improves itself, at that point you've probably achieved artificial general intelligence. So we haven't gotten to that point yet, but that'd be really, really cool. What else do we got here? How do I update oTToDev on my PC? So yeah, if you have it pulled already and you want to update it, all you have to do is pull the latest changes, like just do a git pull, like through the command line or GitHub desktop or whatever. And then sometimes you'll need to rebuild the container, like if there's new npm packages, PM packages that you need for new features. So you would rebuild the container and then run it again. So essentially just the same steps that you initially did, you would run those again. But it'll be a lot faster this time because you have things cached, like the different layers for the Docker image cached. So it's not like you have to wait for it to build everything again. It won't take up more storage space on your machine and everything, but that's how you'll update. And then if you're not running through Docker, you would just do the pull and then do the pnpm install command again, and then you would run the pnpm run dev command to start it up again. Kevin said, DeepSeek is the best. It's so cheap. I definitely agree. Paying a 20th of a penny to prompt oTToDev is a really good deal, because I mean you're going to pay less than a cent for most applications you develop with oTToDev, like super affordable. So yeah, I definitely agree. Can you connect AI agents to this tool and also other software to automate? So at this point you can't, but that kind of does go into this feature that we want to implement here. Is like when you have a request to build an app, and the backend would actually like send it into an agent that would, like maybe you'd have like mixture of agents that are working together to check each other's work before it sends the code to the front end. Like something like that would be so cool. Yeah, Jamie said, you're an absolute legend, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see what else we got here. Enrico said that he's getting that this message didn't complete its response error. That is unfortunately a very common error. And the problem with it, it's not a very helpful error because that's kind of just the catch-all that the front end tells you when there's an error in the back end. So typically when you get that error, there's actually going to be a more helpful error in either the terminal where you started the website, or if you go to the developer tools in your browser, like F12 is usually the button that you'd use to open that, and then go to the console, that's where you'll see something that's more useful. Because there's a couple of different issues that could cause that error. I know that's one that a lot of you have run into. I've even seen that sometimes myself. For some reason, that'll even happen once in a while when everything is working, and then you just rerun the site and it works. I don't know if there's like some caching issue with Vite or something. It's rare, but I've seen that as well. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Okay, some people are saying they're getting a lot of ads. I am sorry about that. I didn't look into the settings for that too much, but I will certainly for the next stream. So yeah, my apologies there. I'm not trying to like hammer a bunch of like as many ads as possible or anything like that. So yeah, I apologize for that. I don't know if I can change that in the middle of a stream. Like I said, it's my first time doing a stream in a long time, and the first time my account has been monetized, so I just haven't looked into that, but I certainly will. So thank you for pointing that out. Then let's see, a couple questions on running things locally. So Navy SEAL asked, what would you recommend for PC specs for run Nemotron 70B completely locally? So I will say for 70 billion parameter models, you're going to need pretty good specs. Actually, let me do this live really quick for you. I'll show you what it takes to run. So I'm going to open up my task manager here. I'm going to show you what it takes to run some of these larger models. I'll just do this really quick. I think it'll be cool to show you. Okay, so here's what I got. So I've opened up my task manager, and these are my graphics cards. I've got two 3090s. I will open up a terminal here, and I will run. So I'll run a model here. So I'll do Ollama list, and I will show you. Let's just do. Okay, this is really dangerous because these GPUs, they will start cooking, and I don't know like if my stream is gonna crash or something, but probably not. It should be fine. But let's do like Qwen 2.5. I love Qwen 2.5, so I'll do Ollama run Qwen 2.5 72B. We'll kick this thing off. My GPU is already being used a lot by OBS, so I hope that this is fine. It'll take a little bit to load in the model because it is massive. So as this is loading, I'll just say that to run like a 30 billion parameter model, like if you wanted to use like CodeLlama 34B, for example, you would like at least need a 3090, I would recommend. Something with like 24 gigabytes of VRAM. You could try maybe to use a 3080, but it might be pretty slow. For a 72 billion parameter, I'll just say like, build me a simple HTML landing page. Like it'll start going, like you can see it's pretty slow for even my double 3090s. You can see here that Ollama is using both of my GPUs. The usage is going up for both. The temperature is going up for both. So it's not fast. There's a lot of ways you can make these large language models faster using a technique called quantization. So I would look up I don't know how to say it, quantizing your models, I think is how you say it. I've just always read it and typed it, but I haven't said it out loud. I would look into that because you can basically adjust the size of the weights on the model to make it run faster and not lose too much performance. But yeah, you can see that like it's pretty slow with the 70 billion parameters. So your NVIDIA one is going to be, the Nemotron 70B is going to be pretty similar size, pretty similar speed. So that's what I would say there. But yeah, if I exit out of this and then just do like Yeah, my fans are going. It's going loud now. If I do like 32B, for example, you'll see it's a lot faster. So llama run Qwen 2.5 32B. Load this one into memory, and if I ask it the same question, like make a simple HTML landing page, once it loads here, you'll see that it's a lot faster. It'll say, make a simple HTML landing page. And yeah, you can see like, boom, we're getting good speeds. Like this is what would actually be considered reasonable. And I've used Qwen 2.5 32B in oTToDev before, and it is certainly a lot faster. The reason I'm doing this demo quick, not in oTToDev, is because I just wanted to have this terminal up where I could show you the models that I have. And like, if it runs really slow in oTToDev, it's a lot more painful to watch than having at least spit out the tokens within the terminal. So that's why I did it there. Anyway, that's my little demonstration. I hope that answers your question. For like a 70 billion parameter model, I would at least have a couple 3090s, and then you can use quantization to make it more make it faster. So I'd look into that if I were you. And then also, people have been able to run like really powerful models on Macs with like their new architecture. That's a whole other wheelhouse that I'm not an expert in, but there's that as well. So yeah, sorry, that was a long-winded way to answer that question, but that's something fun I wanted to show a little bit, because I didn't get to do stuff with the local LLMs like we had on my agenda, so I thought I could at least play around with that for a little bit. So yeah, let me scroll down to the bottom here. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to getting to the end here. If there are any questions that I didn't answer, feel free to post them in the Discourse community, because I'm going to be there. Other people are going to be there helping you answer these questions. Yeah, Joe Baker said it's quantizing. I said quantizing. That is totally wrong. So thank you for correcting me there. Quantizing. That is the way that you make larger models fit better, while still not reducing the performance too much. And by the way, fun fact, that's what Meta is doing to make Llama 3.2, 3B, and 1B run on phones. Okay, one more quick aside. I'm sorry, this is just so fun. If I do ollama list, I actually have these models pulled. Llama 3.2, 1B. It is 1 billion parameters. And this thing is fast. Ollama run. This thing is so quick. If I say make a simple HTML landing page, this thing is blazing fast. But it's because my graphics cards are pretty insane. Like on a phone, even a 1 billion parameter model is pretty slow. So Meta is working on creating quantized versions, essentially making the model much smaller without reducing the performance too much. It's still like 90% performance on the benchmarks compared to the non-quantized version, but then it's able to actually run on a phone. So we're getting to the point where you can actually run a local LLM even on a phone, which is so cool. Obviously not the kind of model you could use with oTToDev, but it's still pretty cool. Charbax asked about running on an M1 Mac. I don't actually know. I don't have a Mac, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I could try to, like, I've done a little bit of research, but like, I'm not the one to answer that question. But there's people that have Macs that definitely would be. So yeah, I hope that helps. It's a good question on the Discourse community for sure. Yeah. So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so people are saying they don't have ads and they have premium. That makes sense, yeah. Primarily web said you can use the Brave browser to avoid ads. So yeah, if you do want to install another browser, you can use the Brave browser to avoid ads. That's definitely an option. But also, I'll look into that for the next stream, because I definitely don't want to be spamming you guys with ads. I'm just new to all of this stuff, so like when I upload videos, I know how the settings work for that, obviously, but streaming is a whole different thing. Especially because most of the time I'm actually managing the stream and all the settings for it within OBS itself, my recording software. So it's much different than actually uploading a video. Let's see. Red asked, what is the roadblock on that? The self-improvement to oTToDev or anything similar? I think local projects can't be loaded in with this, but if that was fixed, what else would need to be solved? So I think, so what you're asking here is like, what stops an AI system like Devin or oTToDev or Bolt.new from like improving itself and making itself a better platform? And I think it really comes down to like large language models just simply aren't capable enough to do that yet. Like even with O1 and its advanced reasoning that it has, there's just way too much that goes into making, like, what it takes to actually like be like, okay, I'm going to add agents into oTToDev, and I'm going to edit this file, this file, this file, this file, make this pull request, and do this testing. Like, it's just not able to do that yet, even if you're throwing, you know, a billion tokens at it, because any tiny hallucination and the whole thing just falls apart. And yeah, so I think that's kind of the answer to that question. But we're definitely going to get there. We're definitely going to get there. Yeah. Ascend asks, any thoughts about a system prompt that generates optimal results? So that is another thing that we're actually going to be looking into that is kind of on this roadmap, more just because I want to have better prompting. Like right here, better prompting for smaller LLMs, but really like for any LLM, better prompting is just like creating a system prompt that's specific to the model. Like Bolt.new created their prompt specifically for Claude 3.5 Sonnet, but different large language models handle different parts of it differently. And so creating a prompt specifically like, oh, here's the prompt that works the best with Qwen 2.5 Coder 7b, or here's the prompt that works best with DeepSeek Coder 236b. That's a really cool thing that we're planning for the future as well. So yeah. All right, let me scroll down a bit more here. All right. Yeah, a couple of people mentioning some of the bugs that I've talked about already, like the preview not opening, things like that. Those are things that we're definitely working on for sure. Super, super important. Jason asked, what motherboard are you using to run two 3090s? So I'm using the, let's see, Asus Pro, I think it's this one. ProArt X670 Creator. This is the, yeah, this is it. This is the motherboard that I'm using for my double 3090 that I've got running here. It definitely does the trick. Okay, one really, really important thing for motherboards. Just another little tangent here, but this means a lot. I actually had to return the first motherboard that I bought. Look at this right here. On the right-hand side, you can see that there are two slots for the GPUs that are identical. And then if you look at it, I can't really like mouse over it because then the zoom in won't show anymore. But if you look at the very bottom left of the motherboard, there's another PCI slot that's completely black and smaller. That you can technically put a third graphics card in there, but it's not going to get the same power from the PSU as the other two. And a lot of motherboards support multiple GPUs, but you're actually going to have two PCI slots like that, where only one of them is going to actually get the most power from the PSU. So this motherboard specifically, when you run two graphics cards together, it runs in what's called X8X8 mode, where both of my 3090s get the exact same amount of power from the PSU. A lot of motherboards you'll run in what's called X8X4 configuration, where the second GPU is going to be slightly underperforming the other one. So I know that's a really technical tangent that a lot of you don't care about, but if you're interested in any capacity to build a computer at some point to run double GPUs, to run some of these larger models, you need to keep that in mind. I actually, like I said, I returned my first motherboard because I thought it was X8X8 and it wasn't. So I had to return it and get this one instead. So anyway, a little tangent there, but super important to keep in mind. Building a computer is fun for hosting your LLMs, but it can be a little stressful to get everything right. Yeah, let's see what else here. All right. InfiniPays asked, is Canary still necessary? It is in place of Chrome, but if you want to use like Firefox or something, then you don't have to use Google Canary for oTtoDev. Yeah, all right, what else we got here? Coming to the end here. Maybe I'll answer another question or two. Mikkel said X4, X8, 16 is PCI lane speeds, not power from the PSU. Yeah, thank you for correcting me there. Same thing applies, where basically one graphics card is just not going to be as fast as the other. Yeah, but yeah. I looked into so many things as I was building my computer that like I got a little bit jumbled in my head with all the different concepts that are being thrown around there. But yes, you want a motherboard where you have the same speeds for both of your graphics cards. Super important. Another comment here. Those folks who are monetizing Bolt and other AI dev tools, where can we donate to Cole or the project to help pay for development progress? Seriously can't help code, but willing to donate. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, so right now there's not a place to donate yet, but I do want to get crowdfunding going. So yeah, that's something that I will certainly be working on. Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing right now is like, if you're able to code, contributing through coding is, I mean, like that's the big thing that I'm looking for right now. But yeah, certainly crowdfunding for donations and getting that ready for like pay developers to tackle certain things. Having like a bounty on code would be super cool. Like if you implement this thing, it's worth this much or whatever. That'd be so cool. Yeah. So Nava said you leaked your address. Yeah. Luckily, that's a business address, so it's not where I'm currently residing. But anyway, yeah, probably shouldn't have anyway, but it's all good. Let's see. Yeah. Will agents be incorporated into this? Yes, definitely. That is one of the big things right here. High priority. Incorporating agents. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it there for questions here. So, last little outro that I want to give here is that I just really appreciate all of you guys for being here on this stream and going through all the updates with me, and also everything with Automator and the Discourse that we got going for AuToDev. Really, really exciting stuff that we're just going to keep blowing up the channel here. Thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and I can be reached on the Discourse community. Minoli asked that. That's going to be a place where I'm going to be really active, engaging with all of you, as well as the YouTube comments still. So I'm going to be really engaged, continuing to organize things as we get the roadmap going for AuToDev and the crowdfunding for development tasks, the community here, continuing to build that up. So yeah, I'm just really excited for all this that we're doing with AuToDev and getting through all of these pull requests and issues and more features to come as well. So much to do with so many people getting involved. So thank you everyone for that. A lot more content I'll be releasing on my channel in the coming weeks on AuToDev as well, like specific use cases and testing out different models. I'm also going to be creating some content soon on testing different models for function calling, local models for function calling. So something kind of related to AuToDev, but still diving into other parts of AI that are important as well. So a lot more coming on this. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it a lot. Have a good rest of your evening if you're in America, or your morning if you are in Asia or Europe. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.